What's up, guys? Matt here, coming at you with some brand new tires from Jconcepts. These are the Ruptures and the Holds. Now, both of these were just released here recently in the green compound. These Holds we're going to put on hold for now because I'm very, very excited about the Ruptures. Now, this is one of my favorite 1.9 tires. So my only issue out of the gate is I was planning on putting these on a new build, maybe, you know. I know you guys be noticing this stuff in the background. So I was planning on using these, and they supposed to measure 63 millimeter. These are the same, 63 millimeters, what they said, I promise. And if you look, they're more like 60. So they're a little bit smaller than I expected. So just know that if you're picking these up. I still love this tread pattern. It kind of reminds me of the old hot body Rovers that I loved back in the day. I still have a pair of two of those around here that I use, but really good on 10 scale. So picking up the 1.0 edition, very excited to run these and see how they do. When you first take these out of the pack, they'll feel a little slick because they have like a release agent on them. You can wash them, whatever, but by the time I got done mounting these, they felt very good and sticky. So I do have the pine trees from CCXRC in the front and stock foams in the rear. I'm going to vent all of them. I just went ahead and went with those pine trees in here because I had a set that fit them, and they definitely make your tires better. Those are flubs. We're pretty much going to go that way every time. So if I have something that fits them well, I usually just go ahead and throw it in there. So I'm going to get these things mounted up. Maybe on this, we still got a few kinks to work out on that. We'll get to that at some point. We're going to mount these up on here for now, I think, and go run this thing and just see exactly how these Ruptures perform. So let's get them mounted up and we'll go run these. All right, so I ended up putting these on the Tarantula because I'm having issues with the front diff on the Slayer. So it is what it is. I'll deal with that at some point. But really, it kind of worked out putting these on here because I just ran a couple different sets of tires on here, so I can easily kind of compare how these run versus like the Swamp Claws that I just took off of here. And kind of running them back to back, you get a really good feel for how a tire is performing. And you know, if you watched my last video, those things I was struggling on a few climbs. This one right here, they did this almost as good. This is like my first try with these Ruptures. Went up that really well. The Swamp Claws, I got them to go up it, but it took a little more effort. Going up, just like right here, there's really not much slip. I mean, I may get a little bit of tire spin, but these things just felt so locked in on the course. And after running these for probably 10, 15 minutes out here, I already felt like these were going to be a favorite. You know, I'll have to get them on some other terrains, but I mostly crawl out here and just kind of test things out here. And you know, it's easy to tell a good tire versus something that struggles. I mean, it just feels more locked in. Even going downhill like this, I could just feel like the tires were gripping, like the little freaking hooks. They were just, I mean, just locked in. You know, this climb right here in my last video, I have yet to get the Swamp Claws to go up this. They just will not take this truck up this crawl right here. And this was the first attempt with these tires. Now, this build, the TRX4M skid sits very low, and that's the main issue with this build right now, is just that skid drags on everything. So that's why I was wanting these tires to be a little bigger, just because I could use a little more clearance on this thing. But I'm going to take like the Dremel to this skid, or put some longer shocks maybe on the rear to get a little more drop out there. I like to keep the front kind of tight, you know. I could maybe put some longer shocks and some bands on it or something like that. But, you know, I really like how this thing drives other than that skid digging in all the time. But just even going downhill, again, here, watch it going down. I just felt like these things were locked on, you know, whereas a lot of tires, when you start going down like that, you can feel them like start sliding, you know. And I can't even imagine some of the like hanger lines I'll be able to pull with these tires when I put them on like the Demeanor or even the Slayer, you know, having lots of clearance and then having a tire that will just hook like a freaking claw. I mean, it's going to be amazing. So, you know, I'm not 100% sold on these for this build just because I wanted them to be a little bigger, like true to size, like what they say they are, Jconcepts. But, you know, they're a great tire. I just don't understand why they're so much smaller than what they say they are. But, you know, you can tell these things, I think, if you watch me climb this stuff often, you can tell the difference in tires. And, I mean, it's not me just like, I don't even have to talk. You could probably just watch the video side by side with these and another tire and totally see the difference. But, man, driving it, this thing felt so much better with these tires than it's felt in a while. And again, downhill right here. And, you know, normally I'm testing tires like you're going uphill, but still, just going down right here, you'll see how locked in they are. Look, I'm over the peak right there, but the rear tires still got like that stick, and they were holding, you know, and eventually I had to kind of punch it because you're going to go end over end. But unreal how locked in these things felt. They just really did feel good. Here again, the skid sitting low, I kind of have to just hop this, but they got the traction to get it done, you know. Side hill, I could really tell that I wasn't struggling to hold a line, you know. You can tell if a tire's struggling on side hill, you're just constantly fighting, trying to keep your line. These tires, no issues at all. Watch this. They don't even like spin right here hardly. A lot of times I'll have to kind of sit there and work a tire a little bit, let it spin a little bit until it finally catches. Not these, man. They barely even slowed down. I mean, like, we got just a little bit of slip and they were gone. That was pretty much the case everywhere, and just unreal how good these things were. And you can see here how much quicker they finished that line. It's kind of crazy because, you know, the Swamp Claws aren't terrible in my opinion. They're a solid all-around tire. That's kind of what I said in my video. I think they'll be really good in some loose stuff, but, you know, I mentioned that they struggled a little bit out here on the course. Just anything with huge knobs on it really kind of struggles out here. And a tire like the Rupture here is just perfect for this type terrain. I mean, it just really is. Even just creek rock and that sort of thing, if it's mostly rock, I think these tires are going to be great. Now, dirt and like really loose sandy, loose rock and stuff, you're probably going to like something like the Swamp Claw a little more. But these things, I was super impressed running these. Running them back to back was really the best thing I could do. And just like all of this stuff right here, when I turn and go uphill, they just go where I want it. There is no like I'm turning and I'm slipping and I got to realign. It goes, you know. And like right here, this is kind of just an odd little line where you just kind of got to get enough traction with that right rear to get over that little bump. I mean, it's not much of a crawl, but it really is a little more complicated to kind of go up the route I went there. And these, nothing. Watch this. A lot of tires will spin going up this. These things don't even slow down. I mean, unreal. It just really is crazy how good these things are. I hope they make these in multiple sizes. Like, I would love to have these in a larger version, you know, even up to maybe a 68 millimeter or something like the DJ Crawler tires, because these are on the way to be my favorite tire, just flat out. You know, obviously I got to get some more time in with them, run them on some different stuff, but as far as what I've done with them out here, definitely right up there with the 64 millimeter Injoras. And, you know, I'd like to run those maybe back to back on this build, just throw those on there. So maybe that's something I'll do. If you guys want to just see something like that, like a comparison between my maybe two favorites right now, we could do that. But this side hill line right here, very hard to hold a line on this. Your front really wants to slide out right there, bad. And then when you come around this edge, it wants to slide even more right there a lot of times. These things didn't even budge. I mean, if I was getting a little more travel out of the shocks on this thing, I could have just made that in one sweep probably. but only having to back up once right there a little bit, very impressive. These tires actually had the same like good sticky feel when I got done running as they did when I started. And I feel like as these things really wear in and get just a tiny bit softer, they're going to be even better. They're soft, but they're not as soft as like the DJ Crawler 68 millimeters. Like those are some of the craziest soft tires like ever. And they got a really good feel. Those and the Injora 64 millimeters, they both just are super insanely soft. These are not quite that soft. So I think as they break in more, they're just going to get better and better. But, pretty impressed with them straight away. Definitely in my top 5, probably top 2 to 3. So just really enjoying these. I got a lot of builds I want to try them on, including a brand new maybe RTR that's going to blow your mind. Little hint there. But yeah, they probably fit pretty good on that thing. So we may have to try that out. I've been getting a little running in with it, and honestly, one of the only things I think it needs is tires. So definitely stay tuned for that. Subscribe if you haven't already, because it's coming soon, hopefully. So these tires, for the size, they did great. I wish they were a little bit bigger for this build. I think they will fit on anything that you're looking for around a 60 millimeter tire. They're going to be great. I wish they were like 64 to 65. They'd be right there with my Injoras. But you guys let me know what you think about these. And overall, I definitely recommend these tires. So I appreciate you guys watching. Peace.